What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. If you are new to the channel, do me a favor and hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content we have coming out. And with this video, we are going to be jumping into Black Panther issue number 1. Now, this is a new creative team with a new direction, with this arc being called The Long Shadow. We have John Ridley really bringing us a whole new aspect to the Black Panther series, bringing us an action-packed espionage series, recently coming back from space, only to get an urgent message from one of his Wakandan secret agents. And so with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we dive into this issue, it is dropping us in with the Avengers, and they are currently going against something of unknown origins. The only thing they know is that these things are attacking the villagers and they have to stop them. And with Doctor Strange using his powers, he is able to contain them inside of a circle for a limited amount of time. With them in their frenzied state, it is very difficult for him to hold this for as long as he needs to. And so Thor and Captain America, they work to stop the frenzying. They work to knock out as many of these guys as they can, to ease up the burden that Doctor Strange is currently carrying. But even with hitting them, they seem to be getting right back up. Now, Black Panther, he tells them to look for a portal. Of course, everyone's asking, like, what portal? What are you talking about? Black Panther saying, there's always a portal. There's always some way they got here. There's always some doorway that we can kick them back through. Or some kind of hive mind, a secret destruction switch. There's always something. And so he turns to Doctor Strange and he asks him if he is able to open up a portal, saying that it's really not going to be possible for him to do that while he is holding this barrier. Black Panther asks for just a partially operational rift, something big enough to put these guys through, to get them out of here. And so we see Doctor Strange, he opens up a rift just big enough to where these guys can go flying through it. With Thor bringing down the lightning, we see him hit Cap's shield with it. Hitting the shield, he uses the shield to blast all of these creatures back. And as we see them go flying through the air, all of them go into the rift. And with Doctor Strange shutting the door as the last ones go through, the battle has been won. Now, Doctor Strange was able to get a little bit of genetic material. He's going to take this back. He is going to study every aspect of it. He is going to find out exactly what these things were, where they came from, and what they want. But this is where we see a conversation between Steve and T'Challa. And Steve is thanking him for his assist, telling him how great it is to have him back around. But the thing is, he is not even sure if Black Panther is going to be sticking around, because for quite some time he has been running around outer space. And while he is the emperor of the intergalactic empire, he plans to run things from right here on Earth. And his role as the Wakanda king is now shifting. And so he's planning on being around at least a little bit more. Steve's still a little bit hesitant. He asked for Black Panther's word on this, because at the end of the day, he has other responsibilities, but a leader needs to lead. And that's hard to do when you have one eye on the problem and one eye in the middle of the universe. But Black Panther lets him know that he will continue to serve his people, to be there for the Avengers. And that's what picks us up a little bit later at the new Parliament building of Wakanda. And what we have going on right now is all of the leaders that have been picked by the people trying to debate new laws, new regulations, so on and so forth. Now, this is quite a shift for our Wakandan king, because he is used to ruling. He is used to having the last word, the last say-so. And while he is still technically king, at the end of the day, he has given power over to the people. He has let them become a democracy. But in doing that, they are just debating. They're not even really solving any of the problems that are going on. And this frustrates T'Challa, because when he was king, when he had absolute power, he was able to fix things. He was able to make things work. And now on this new election system, he worries that allies will change drastically. He worries that with new elections comes new leadership, and they are not going to hold the same agreements, the same treaties, everything that you currently have going on with all of the other nations. But more than anything that is frustrating him is very little is actually getting accomplished. And so the king, he gets up from the room and he excuses himself. And he leaves the people to their discussion. Now that is the part in the story where we pick up in Chile. And here in Chile, we have two individuals that are meeting up. One of them, Jay, and the other, Omalola. And right now, these two are meeting up under secret. They are meeting up because they are not supposed to be. But these two together, they have found romance in this world. These two being sent out by T'Challa to be secret agents, to be the Black Ops team out in the world, in case that they're ever needed, in case the security of Wakanda is ever compromised. They have sleeper agents outside in the nations. But while these two are sitting down and having some lunch, this is when things go completely sideways. The waiter that was bringing them food, he takes a bullet to the head. A bunch of other individuals, they start going down as well as the two of them run away from this restaurant, with the two of them quickly recognizing that this isn't a mass shooting. This is a targeted attack, an attack that is coming directly for them. With things going sideways, they go down an alleyway. With him being injured and bleeding out, he tries to get away, recognizing that there is no escape for them, that they have to turn and fight whoever this is. With them activating their bracelets, we see the suits come on, and they are ready to do it. They are ready to fight. And with these assailants coming in on them, at least a dozen of them, they do everything they can to fight them off. With Jay taking a wound to the back, he recognizes he's probably not going to make it out of this fight. And so he grabs a grenade. He unpins the grenade and he tells her to run, to go find T'Challa and tell him exactly what happened here today. Tell him they know. And with that, we have a giant explosion from the alleyway. And later that evening, she is able to get in contact with Black Panther, getting through to him using an emergency line. She lets him know that Jay has died, telling her to send a location and he will come immediately. Now she goes to say something, but he tells her just don't say a word. Before you say anything, I want to see Jay's body. Now he pays the people off he has to pay. He goes down and he sees the body. He recognizes that it is his friend Jay. He recognizes it's someone he cares about. But more than anything, it's confirmation that these two had been breaking the rules. Because Black Panther, he puts them into specific zones. They are not supposed to go out of those zones. They are supposed to stay in those zones. Not only that, for the most part, they remain celibate. And so these two finding each other, being of Wakanda, being agents of Wakanda, they thought it might be okay. It might be a little safer than having a relationship with anybody else. But in doing that, they jeopardized themselves. They jeopardized all of Wakanda. They jeopardize everything that T'Challa has been building up to this point. But he also understands love. And these two, they fell for one another. But she lets him know the last thing that Jay said was they know. Now he gives her a card that has instructions to take her to a safe house, somewhere she can lay low until all of this blows over and he can figure out exactly what is going on. And he lets her know that he will be going back to Wakanda so that he can retrieve all of the other agents that he has planted around. Because if they know about Jay, if they know about her, then they probably know about the rest of them. Now, picking up with Shuri, he sits down and they have a private conversation together. Because up to this point, she believed Jay had died a while ago, but she is now learning that that wasn't the case. The individuals that may have gone missing or are dead or supposedly dead are actually Wakanda's secret agents. He's running his own MI6 CIA program. Because while he may have agreed to open up their borders to the entire world, He never trusted the world. He never trusted that they would accept Wakanda. Now, of course, his sister is very against the idea of having secret agents out there in the field, feeling like it's just very deceptive. But at the end of the day, he is not going to pretend like the world outside of these borders are not corrupt. He is not going to pretend like all of these governments have the best interest of Wakanda in mind. So even as he claimed to integrate Wakanda with the world, he made plans to protect their home. Sleeper agents, Wakanda's best and most dedicated warriors. They were embedded in countries around the world to live and work and exist at the most regular people. But if Wakanda were ever to be threatened, on his order alone, they were to engage in a guerrilla warfare campaign. Their job would have been to infiltrate, destroy, and assassinate against anyone that is against the Wakandans. Now she has to ask the question, why? Why keep all of this a secret? Why not tell me? Why feel like you have to take this burden on all by yourself? Even if she greatly disagrees with every aspect of this, he has lied to everyone about it. But it's something that he had to keep secret. A secret program that even the Avengers have no idea about. Now, he doesn't necessarily think the Avengers will go after him, but if the day ever comes that they decide they want to cross Wakanda, if they want to try to take something or side with someone that is an enemy of Wakanda, he wanted to have these avenues so he could use them against any forces that try to take them down. But what he gives her is video recordings of everything that transpired, trying to find out any kind of clues, trying to find out who was on their tail, anything that can give them evidence to point on who is doing this, who is responsible for this attack. Now, with that conversation coming to an end, this is where we pick up with Steve Rogers, the more difficult conversation that he has to have today. Because what he is telling Steve is that he is not going to be a big part of the Avengers in the next coming weeks and months. That he is going to be preoccupied. Now, he did give his word to Steve, but he's telling him, I'm sorry. Like, my people come first. There are emergencies, protocols that I need to take care of here in Wakanda, and you and the Avengers, you're gonna have to understand. And he lets him know that he is not taking this leave lightly, and they simply need to trust him. Now, Steve tells him that you will always have our trust, but what he wants more than anything is just a little bit more commitment to the team. Now, that is what takes us to Moscow. Currently in Moscow, Black Panther is meeting up with the sleeper agent who was having affairs with Jay. She was supposed to be going to the safe house. Obviously, she didn't do that. She followed T'Challa to figure out what he was doing because she wants to find the murderers of Jay just as much as anybody else. But she lets him know that he is going in blind. He is going to need some help. And the question arises, are you going to be prepared? Are you going to be ready for what comes next? And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I think it's a very interesting direction to go with Wakanda and Black Panther, taking him down an avenue where he has sleeper agents, where he's not trusting any of the governments, where he more or less is acting like a lot of the governments when it comes to the CIA, when it comes to MI6, when it comes to all of these organizations that are meant to spy on other people. But at the same time, can you truly blame T'Challa when this world is so destructive, and a world that they created a much more peaceful avenue, where they have created a world of more harmony, and then to open that world up to all of the disasters that have come with humankind. Now, I've seen some people say that it makes him a little less hero-like when he's sitting here acting more like a dictator, but at the end of the day, he is king of Wakanda. He is the one in charge, or at least he was the one in charge for quite some time. And the idea of protecting his people against any kind of threat by using these sleeper agents, I think is a smart move. I think at the end of the day, it protects Wakanda's best interest. Now, they're not using them for anything outside of just living their day-to-day lives. That is, until someone attacks Wakanda. Then and only then would he activate these. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you have not yet, do me a favor, hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content we have coming out, and until the next breakdown.